So this Trinity over here is exceptional to say the least. The reason is, let's start with the Ninja 500, which we all know. It's a beautiful motorcycle and the successor to the Ninja 250, the 300, the 400, and of course now we have the Ninja 500. This is 51 horsepower and it's a beautiful sports bike, you know, for beginners and also, you know, for experienced riders who just want to thrash it around the track and not worry about it falling. It's not expensive, you can fix it and stuff like that. The Kawasaki HEV 7. This is related to the Ninja 500. Why? Because this has got the same parallel twin 451cc engine which this motorcycle has. So this one also produces 51 horsepower, but the main difference is that this also got an electric motor, and of course because this is a hybrid, so total it produces around 69 horsepower. That is around 18 horsepower more than the Ninja 500. But hear this out. Now here is where the difference comes. The technology in this is insane, and that's the reason why you've got the Kawasaki Rivermark logo, which first appeared on the Ninja H2 in 2015 when it was showcased at EICMA. And that bike which you see over there, it's a naked motorcycle, the naked HEV version of the same bike which you see over here. This bike here is an example, a glimpse into the future, into the possibilities of what is possible, and of course a chest thumping announcement by Kawasaki once more after 2016-15 actually, where it's announced the supercharger, the H2, that we are the first people in the world to have a strong production hybrid, a true hybrid two-wheeler, a true hybrid motorcycle which can function either like an electric or like an internal combustion engine, or both combined into one. Yes. There is a learning curve here, which is not bad, because since how long we had a technology in a motorcycle that required a learning curve. Even the supercharger in the H2, you didn't have to think about it, you know, it just used to work. But here you have to learn how to operate, and that is what makes this motorcycle a curious gadget, a curious accessory. But as this thing, you know, gets more mainstream, I think it will become something like a smartphone, which initially everyone used to hate using it. So it auto switches the gears. I am not doing anything. As you can see, the system is switching by itself. It goes up to the 4th gear and stays over there. And I think you can achieve a maximum of 70-80 kilometers an hour in pure EV mode. You can't just sit on this motorcycle and expect just to ride it like a normal bike, like a normal EV. You need to know the modes, you need to know what the buttons do, you need to know how to switch between electric to the sports mode. So it's a little crazy system. It's as with any machinery, you just have to get used to it. That's all you need to know. But then there are a lot of things to know in this. I'm going at 130 kilometers an hour in 6th gear. So this is a 450cc engine, internal combustion engine working right now. My experience, let me start by first talking about the looks. So when I first saw this on the internet, so there are two versions, the fully fade, that's the green, and the silver one. It looks beautiful, it looks very big, because essentially the swing arm is also extended in that, because you got the battery pack and stuff like that. So the look is little different, because it houses so many things. Like it has 2 motors and it has got a battery pack. It's got loads of stuff inside it. From the front, this one looks like a Z900 or even a little bit like the ZH2 little bit. And of course, you know, they have to follow their traditional look, so it's familiar for the Kawasaki users. Going beyond the looks, the real thing, the real deal is on how it handles. So I'm in complete EV mode, and this is actually an area for cycling, but I'm here with this completely switched off. This bike is 229 kilograms. The naked is probably 2-3 kgs lesser. It's not a light motorcycle. And because the way the battery pack and the motor is placed just behind, I think, the ICE engine over here, the center of gravity is not that low. So when you turn, you feel little weird. And because of the extended swing arm also, it doesn't turn really fast. You know, you feel that you have to make a little bit of an effort. But the EV range is still not calculating. So let me actually see if I switch off and on. Okay. Oh, it takes some time. Now it's not starting. Oh my god. If you just want to hop on this, start and go, it's not going to happen, you know, because it takes a little bit of time to switch on or do whatever, you know, it does. And then you got to think what mode you have to start in. You have to start in EV mode, you have to start in like the sports mode. What mode actually you have to start in? Take some time to boot, some checks, internal combustion engine check, and this check, FI check. And now this sort of reminds me of a smartphone. So on the left you have the battery, which is almost empty. EV range is 4 kilometers. On the right is the internal combustion engine, the fuel, actual gasoline. And then this here is the hybrid EV, the blue. This is pure EV, the green. And then you have the rev, the tachometer. And this is telling you to push this button. Like the green button is actually the red button. I push here. But this is in first gear, which I have to put it in neutral using the paddle shift, which is right here. So you hear the clunk, and after that it becomes neutral. And now, and if I press this, then just listen to it. Okay, now the internal combustion engine is on, but we don't want the sound, so I press this, the HEV, I keep it pressed, and then it switches to only EV mode, and now it is only in EV. It's written over here, automatic gear, EV range is 4 kilometers. And then you finally take off the stand, and then you use this paddle shift again. In the front you have you know, to upshift, and this is the downshift. If you see this whole thing, there's sport eco mode, and then there is one mode called walk. If you press this, keep it pressed, then the console will change and it will show walk mode. This means that this will only allow till 2 or 3 kilometers an hour. So this is the walk mode, and it will help me just park and go forward like maximum 3 kilometers an hour. And if I twist the throttle the other way, then it will go reverse like this. This is fun. And this is the e-boost over here. You use this when you are in the full power sports mode, so that it gives you a boost with the electric engine. But definitely if you go for a test ride, don't expect this to be natural to you, and don't get put off by it. Oh my god, it's so difficult, this is like that, it's like that. No, because it's just a new thing, you know, you just have to get used to it, like people got used to smartphones. You know, that's the only thing. And the other thing is that, you know, when you are sitting on this bike, the TFT, I think it's 4 or 5 inch, it's like a computer. There are a lot of things which are going on over there, lot of things, you know, and you have to figure it out, like, you know, you have to understand. But that again can be taken care of once you start owning the motorcycle, you get used to it. So talking about how to charge electric engine, I was thinking that there must be a plug to charge it, but I don't know, thankfully or not, it doesn't have a plug. It basically charges the battery with regen, while you're braking, but not directly through the brakes, because like in the other EVs. I must talk about one more thing which is there, which helps the internal combustion engine gain more power, more torque to be precise, especially when you are exiting the corners in the mountains, which is called the e-boost by Kawasaki. Now what e-boost does is, there is a button on the right side just below the ignition button. It's a green button. It's kind of a Tronish looking like a button. When you press it, when there is e-boost written on the console, you can use this, and it switches on the electric motor when you are in sports mode, and it uses the torque of the electric motor to push you immediately forward. Showing e-boost. So when e-boost comes, means that you can press the button on the right side, and I'm going to use it for the first time. Let's see what happens. Yes, so I could feel it when I pressed e-boost. It actually increased the power. I think both the electric and the internal combustion engine are working together. As we know that the characteristic of an electric motor is immediate torque right from the start, unlike ICE engine, which need to rev up to a certain sweet spot to get that maximum amount of torque. So this bike is using the best of both worlds, and trust me, e-boost actually works. It is fun. The only thing which I found a little bit irritating was that when you have to use e-boost, of course you have to twist the throttle as well, but you cannot reach the front brake while doing that. So you have to be really careful unless until you have very long hands, especially when you are wearing leather gloves. Okay, go, 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 go! Come on! What has blown me away is the complexity of the physical parts, the two physical motors, how they have been married together in the drivetrain so seamlessly, plus the software which is working to ensure that everything goes smooth. It is truly a remarkable feat of engineering which required Kawasaki to take assistance from Kawasaki Heavy Industries, and that is the reason why they have the Kawasaki Rivermark logo on this, which first appeared on the Ninja H2 in 2015, because that also used the Kawasaki Heavy Industries and Kawasaki Aerospace and turbines and all that, whatever they have got to make the supercharger. Talking about a supercharger, let's actually bring in a motorcycle which also has a Kawasaki Rivermark logo and a supercharger in it. A momentous occasion because I'm riding two of the most technologically advanced motorcycles in the world, and this is the only bike that you can get in a petrol pump which is also electric. A hybrid and a supercharged motorcycle together. Yeah, an insane feeling. So guys, right now I'm in Germany, and like I promised, I'm going to show you two masterpieces from Kawasaki. Right here, this gentleman is Mr. Martin Green, here Martin Green, Brian, and we are here in this green area with his green H2 SX. Now, as you all know, I have a long history with H2, but the H2 SX is a little more touring oriented version, little more mellowed down version. that Mr. Martin owns here. What do you think Kawasaki has done with the 7 Hybrid? Because in this bike they have a supercharger. In that bike they have 2 different motors of completely 2 different categories.
Yeah. Well, I think they try to do what is possible, to see what is possible, and they do it. So with this bike, when I first saw it, or the H2, I remember on a show in England, they sold it by running it on the dyno, because people could see the power and people are surprised. And when I had the first test ride in Germany with the H2, Deutsche Autobahn, you know, no speed limit. And I think I only used 2 or 3 gears and I know I must buy one. So that was the experience, all this power coming from the engine.
But you know, Mr. Herr Martin,
Yeah.
like this is the slower version.
Yeah.
This is not the S2.
Yeah. Now Kawasaki is bringing the first hybrid
Let's
bike.
talk about this.
And I thought, oh, must have a test ride.
Yes.
And my test ride is now more than 4,000 kilometers, including 47 laps on the Nürburgring.
With this.
Yeah, 47.
Okay.
And it works and it's fun.
Yes.
It's you have a middle wide bike, but with more power, and especially electric booster gives you a lot of fun.
Yeah, that was
And
fun. I tried it out.
You come back from riding like normal motorbike, and then you decide, oh, I go to the petrol station or I go to the ice cafe, and you use electric engine.
Yes.
And that's the biggest fun ever, because everybody turns his head. You will know also that everybody has big R&D departments.
Yes.
And I know everybody is working on different technology, new technology. So I think the next 5 years will bring a lot of changes. And especially if you see cities in Europe like Paris, like London, so they close down for cars, they close down for motorcycles, but new technology they have to open again,
Like
or
electric
they are
vehicles.
open. Yeah.
So this can be
So
electric when
it's
it
fun.
wants.
It's fun. You go countryside, ride like normal motorbike. In city, you follow the rules. You are electric vehicle.
Yeah. One of the main examples where this bike can be used. So I'm in complete EV mode, and this is actually an area for cycling. But I'm here with this completely switched off. You know, there is no noise except of the moving parts, the motor, the electric motor, the whining. That's it. So we are at the cusp of the start of a new era, and this bike will be in museums, will be in history books as a bike that was the first production motorcycle in the world to have a real hybrid technology.